Hey everyone, Matt Gardner here, certified financial planner and your host of Motivate Your Money. I'm joined today by the one, the only John Eing. John, certified financial planner and CPA. Got it right this time. John, I want to thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day today to discuss what I like to call motivational money messages. Part of what we're building here at Motivate Your Money is really an awareness of whatever motivates you, motivates your money. And so when I thought about leaders in the industry that are doing really, really good things and are really helping a lot of people when it comes to the financial decisions they made in their lives, you came to mind. And so for our 3 pointers, and folks say, well, why is this called 3 pointers? Well, because 3 points are better than two. But for the 3 pointers today, I want to hear a little bit about you and then hear what your three motivational money messages are.
Awesome. Well, Mac, it's always a pleasure to connect with you. And thank you very much for thinking of me for the 3 pointers today. So without further ado, should we just jump right into it?
Yeah, well, before you do that, give the folks out there that are watching a little bit about who John is and a little bit of backstory and what makes you qualified to give this advice.
Oh, yes, sure. So as you mentioned in the introduction, Matt, I am a CFP and a CPA. And so that you could probably tell from there my professional background. So I was a CPA by training. And, kind of midway through my career as an accountant, I was looking for, what I wanted to do next for the rest of my life. And in that journey, I met the CFO of Quantum he's an alumni of my business school. And he had told me about the financial planning profession, which I did not know existed until that time. And he put it in such an eloquent way that at first I didn't believe him. He said, how would you like to do all the things you enjoy doing as an accountant and people thank you for it? No way, this guy's a really good salesperson. Yeah, sign me up. And so I one of the things he told me to do is take a behavioral finance class, but I started looking into what fee-only financial planning was, and I was hooked. So career transitioned into financial planning in 2015 and has been loving it ever since.
That is awesome. I love to hear the stories of people that find the path, the financial advisory, certified financial planner path, because our industry needs people from various backgrounds to be able to come in and serve communities that are in need of financial guidance. So, all right. Hit us with your 3 pointers.
Yeah, I saw the light. All right, so the 3 pointers are the first, second, and third are planning, financial planning. The second one is your ability to stay in the market, so time in the market. And the third one is the power of compounding. And I'll talk about each one.
Yeah, I like that. That's a pretty strong three right there. You want to start off with the first one?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. So the first one comes from a quote that our Chief Investment Officer, Darius, always shares with us. He always shares successful investing is goal-focused and planning-driven, while most failed investing is market-focused and performance-driven.
That sounds like a good potential Mac Nugget, John.
Oh, it's definitely Mac Nugget. Ingonomics.
Ingonomics, yes.
And I love that because I think oftentimes people confuse investing with what they hear in the media about, timing the market, getting in and out, right? Active management. And it's really, if you think about what investing is, you're using it as a tool to reach a goal. And so that's my number one kind of motivational message to the clients I work with and for myself as well, is kind of reframing the paradigm to say, look, investing isn't about just hitting home runs and making as much money as possible. Definitely we want to grow your wealth, but it really starts with reaching a goal. And if you could start,
planning is key to that.
And planning is key to that. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. What about point two? Point two sounds
Okay.
pretty interesting.
So point two, kind of the point one dovetails nicely into point two, which is your ability to your time in the market determines more of your success than your ability to time the market. So if you have a plan, you're more likely to stay in the market through all of the bumps and volatility that especially we're experiencing nowadays, because you know that you've properly allocated your funds between long-term goals and short-term needs, right? Which means you have the money you need set aside for short-term needs, so you're not worried about what's happening in the market.
Volatility doesn't apply to checking accounts and CDs and savings accounts, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the second one, your ability to stay in the market, your time in the market.
What I've heard about that, the concept of dollar cost averaging, and people will ask, well, why is dollar cost averaging so important? And the concept is that you continually put dollars into an account. A 401k may be a good example of that. And over time, you're buying when the market's high, you're buying when the market is low. But to your point, you're continually putting money into this account, and you really don't care what the market is doing. In fact, you like when the market has down days because you're buying things on discount.
Exactly.
So I love that point too. I love about timing. Time in the market is so much more important than timing the market. Love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. What about point three?
Yeah, that actually dovetails really nicely, Mac, into my third point, which is the power of compounding. I learned of this rule called the rule of 72, which basically means, right, that dividing any number by 72 will tell you how long it'll take to double, right? For your investment to double. So for example, if you take an average annual return of 9%, which historically, you'll hear the stock market has done 9 to 10%, take 9%, 72 divided by 9 will tell you that it will take about 8 years for your money to double. So now take your financial plan that we talked about, take your ability to stay in the market and your ability to earn this market return without doing anything like magic. You can reasonably expect, mathematically speaking, your money to double in 8 years. How amazing!
You do pretty good. You do pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. Without any effort. You don't have to, collect a rent check or anything. You just put your money in the market and let it do its compounding magic.
I love your 3 points, John. They flow so nicely together. One of my McNuggets I like to share is your money can work harder for you than you can work for your money. And if people implement your 3 points, all right, that's the prime example of how your money can work harder for you than you can work for your money. I did a speaking presentation to some middle school class, and we're talking about salaries coming out of school. I said, hey, what's a good salary coming out of college? And they said, well, 100,000. I was like, okay, cool. I said, have you heard of the rule of 72? And they were like, no. They said, okay, well, how long do you think it'll take for your employer to double your salary? And they were like, oh, it's in 2 years, 3 years. Like, really? You're going to go from $100,000 to $200,000 in 2 years? I said, let me explain this rule of 72. I said, typically, the cost of living, you get a 3% increase every year if you're lucky. And if we use the rule of 72, 3 divided by 72 is 24 years. It'll take 24 years for your employer to double your salary. Now, if we look at the market and we use a number like 10%, an average of that, right? That's what the market returns, and you use the rule of 72, that money that you have in the market, that will double in 7.2 years. So that's a beautiful example of how to show people that your money can work harder for you if you plan, right? If you continue to stay in the market, and if you allow it to work for you through compounding, amazing things will happen. So
that is a great story and a great example. I'm sure you opened a lot of eyes and minds that day.
Oh yeah, those kids are like, oh yeah, okay, well, I want to invest. I want to get that 10%. Where can I get that 10%?
Yeah.
Go there. So, John, for the folks that are listening and watching, can you give us a recap again of what those 3 points are?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. So the first point is goal-based, financial planning-based investing. So invest based on a plan. Number two, it's your ability to stay in the market. Time in the market, not timing the market. And number three is the magic of compounding.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. John, brother, thank you so much for all you do and continue to do for your clients and the people in the communities that you serve. Again, I keep saying it, but thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. And
thank you, Mac.
the journey continues.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you again for having me. Really appreciate it.
All the best.